All right, good morning, 8th grade math. We have day 13 of our AMI. Feeling a little festive today. Just remembering the fun of Christmas. We are factoring linear expressions. We're going to start off with this expression that I have here, and we're going to look at the factors of 24 and 16. So for 24, the factors of it are 2 times 12, 3 times 8, and 4 times 6. And then for 16, my factors are 2 times 8 and 4 times 4. And so to factor this, I'm going to look for the greatest common factor. For this, they both share a factor of 8. So that number is what I'm going to pull out of this expression. So I'm going to write my 8 right here. I'm going to put my parentheses, and I'll show you why here in just a second why we put those parentheses. But I factored out my greatest common factor. I know that 24 divided by 8 is 3. Don't forget about your x. And 16 divided by 8 is 2. Now, this is fully factored. Okay, 3 and 2 don't share any other common factors. It's fully factored. But the reason that we write it in this form is if I were given this expression right here, how would I solve it? How would I simplify it? Okay, how would I simplify it? And I would do that by distributing that 8 through my parentheses. 8 times 3x gives me 24x, and 8 times 2 gives me 16. So this is the factored form right here. And if I were given factored form and told to simplify it, my simplified forms match right here. Okay? So let's look at another one. Okay, so 2xy minus 8y. Okay? I'm going to start off by factoring 2 and 8. 2 is easy. I've got 2, which the factors are 1 and 2. And then I have 8, which my factors are 2 and 4. And I'm going to look at my greatest common factor between those, which is my 2. Okay, I'm going to pull that 2 out here. Now I'm going to look at my variables next. On my last one, only one term had a variable, so I didn't really have to worry about it that much. But I look at this and I see that both of these terms share a y. Okay, so I can factor that y out also. They only share a single one, so I'm going to factor out the y. Okay, and then I'm going to look at 2 divided by 2 is 1. Now I've already factored out that y, and I'm left with an x. So I have to put that x in my parentheses. This is minus, and 8 divided by 2 is 4. And I've already factored that y out here outside my parentheses, so I don't have to worry about it. So this is my factored form. Now to check this, I'm going to write 2y times 1x minus 4 down here. And I'm going to distribute my 2y to make sure that I get this first expression. So 2y times a 1x is a 2xy. 2y times a negative 4 is minus 8y. And so it checks out. Ta-da! All right, let's do one more. Boom. All right. I'm not going to write my factors over here onto the side. Sometimes that gets tedious. If you get comfortable with the process of it, sometimes you can just look at it and you can tell what the greatest common factor is. If you want to, though, write it out to the side. Nothing wrong with that. it's a strategy that works. But if I'm looking at these three terms, my greatest common factor, I know 7 will go into both 7 and 14. It'll also go into 42. So it turns out that 7 is my greatest common factor for these. That number will go into all three terms. I have a couple of variables here, but I have an x with my first term, a y with my second term, and no variable with my third term. So I am not going to be factoring out any variables in this because I don't have a common variable to all three terms. So I'm going to factor out a 7. I'm going to pull that 7 out here. 7 divided by 7 is just 1. And I'm left with that x. So I have a 1x. Now in the last problem we actually wrote down 1x. We don't have to write the 1. We can just put x. It's understood to be there. 14 divided by 7 is 2. And my variable y. Negative 42 divided by 7 is 6. And so this is my factored expression. Now again, I can check that. 7 times x plus 2y minus 6. I'm going to distribute this 7 all the way through my parentheses, make sure that I factored it correctly. 7 times x is 7x, 7 times 2y is a 14y, and 7 times negative 6 is 42. And so it checks out.